Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Runestone. Today we're going to be doing Magic the Gathering Top 10 Infinite. So that's a little interesting. So let's begin with number 10. So the first of the cards of the top 10, well, Infinite cards is Rther. It's from Planar Chaos. It's a rare going for $7.68. Costs 4 mana. It says return each aura card from your graveyard to play. Only creatures can be enchanted this way. So it is very cool and it's very expensive, but how many aura cards do people generally play? Very not a lot. So this is why it's at number 10, even though it is an expensive card and it is very efficient. Aurora cards aren't that common. So let's move on to number 9. Next we have is Djinn of Infinite Deceits. It's from Commander 2013 or Commander Anthology. It's a rare, just going for 82 cents. And the reason why it's at number 9 is basically it's so expensive. It costs 6 mana for this 2/7 flying, but its ability does make it worth it if you do want to play it. It says exchange control of 2 target non-legendary creatures. You can activate this ability during combat. A lot of people don't play a lot of creatures in decks nowadays, so maybe this isn't good for type 2, but maybe for historic decks or vintage or whatever you want to call it. Other than that, it does have a bit of a drawback, so let's move on to number 8. And next we have is Infinite Obliteration. It's from Magic Origins. It's a rare going for 23 cents on the market. Well, the card is pretty self-explanatory. Name a creature card, search target opponent's graveyard, hand, and library for any number of cards with that name in exile. Then that player shuffles his or her library. And I do like this because you can actually search their target opponent's graveyard, hand, and library. Therefore, you get an idea of how the deck is played, what they have in their hand, and you can work around that. I'm surprised it's only 23 cents. For 3 mana, I believe this card is really good. But let's move on to number 7. We got Hoden of Infinite Rage from various sets. It's an uncommon going for $1.27. And this one's actually pretty impressive because it's a shrine and you can make shrine decks nowadays and it could be pretty powerful. It costs 3 mana. At the beginning of your upkeep, it deals damage to target creature or player equal to the number of shrines in control. And the reason for that is it says player. So what? If the person doesn't have any creatures, they're playing a creatureless deck, at least you can target the player. This is a legendary enchantment, just to let you know, and I do like the picture. And that's about it. So let's move on to number 6. We got Moin of Infinite Rage from Champions of Kamigawa. It's a rare going for $2.67. Again, and look at the mana cost, 7 plus 3 mount. Holy moly, even for a 7/4, that doesn't beat green. But it comes into play with a divinity counter if you played it from your hand. Therefore, it is indestructible as long as you have a divinity counter on it. Remove a divinity counter from it, destroy all lands. So that is very interesting and very fun to play with, but I just feel it's way too expensive. And with plus removing counter cards nowadays, this card kind of becomes more useless over time. So that's why it's at number 6. So let's move on to number 5. So next and halfway down our list is Trzin of the Infinite from Warhammer 40,000 Commander. It's a rare going for 44 cents on the market. Normally I don't add these type of subcategories of Magic, but I like the card, I like the picture, so I decided to throw it in. It costs 6 mana for a 4/6 with a Death Touch. That's fine, it's okay. It's a Necron, okay. Has Prismatic Gallery. So as long as Infinite is on the battlefield, it has all activated abilities of all artifact cards in your graveyard. That is definitely a combination. I know there's a couple cards that would just destroy if you can't activate or anything from your graveyard or remove it. But this card is really cool for 6 mana. So by that time, you might have a lot of artifacts in your graveyard, which would make this work. So let's move on to number 4. And number 4 is Enter the Infinite Gate Crash. It's a mythic going for, that's right, $8.79. And like most cards, for some reason, for Infinite cost a lot. This one costs 8 plus 4 islands. Draw cards equal to the number of cards in your library. Then put a card from your hand on top of your library. You may have no maximum hand size until your next turn. Well, that's definitely interesting combinations, and if you have a lot of mana, you'll need it to play this card. Maybe you get an extra turn or something, but there's definitely combinations with this card. This is a very cool card, and I just like the artwork. So let's move on to number 3. We got Allog, the Infinite Grier. It's from various sets. It's a mythic. That's right, $26.88, and this one costs 11 mana. As you guys can imagine, all Eldrazi for some reason cost $1 million to put into play. When it comes into play, or casted, I suppose, destroy target permanent. It has Annihilator 4, it's indestructible, and when it's put into your graveyard from anywhere, its owner shuffles back into his library. And it's a 10/10. So basically, if you can get this into play, it's you got God. So let's move on to number 2. Next we have is a Sundial of the Infinite. It's a Mystery Booster, or Magic 2012 it's from. And it's a rare going for $8.64. I like this card. This is why I put it at number 2, because it can really put an effect on the opponents. Costs 2 mana, which is not very expensive, and on top of that, it only costs 1. It says end the turn, activate this ability only during your turn. Well, that 100% changes everything, especially if someone's playing blue. This card can destroy a blue deck, and that's why I put it at number 2. I think it's very, very powerful and deserves some kind of recognition. So let's move on to number 1. And the number 1 card, I believe, is Infinite Authority. It's from Legend. It's a rare, going for $27.76. And no, I'm not saying just because it's an old card from Legends. I do like white mana, so that might be influencing why I put this at number 1. Costs 3 mana to enchant a creature. It says all creatures with a toughness or 3 or less blocking target creature or blocked by target creature are destroyed at the end of combat. So it's kind of like Death Touch, but for white. At the end of the turn, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature for each creature destroyed this way. So you pump it up on top of that. So I really like that. Counters remain on creature even if enchantment leaves play. What more could you want? And it only costs 3 mana. If you do want to combine it with another color, this could hamper it a bit, but this is just like a green-black card that doesn't exist in white anymore. So this is why it's at number 1. And I hope you enjoy the video, and you guys have a good day and a good evening.